everyone, it's Julia. This week I've been busy making some bags for my Etsy store, and I've used a lot of upcycled thrifted items, and I wanted to share with you today a thrifted project that I worked on and also some of the other bags that I completed. These are my fold over clutch bags, and I did a video on how I make these a few months back, and I'll make sure to list that down below and also up in the iCards. They're a wonderful bag. This one is actually made from scraps of velvets and tapestry fabrics that I had picked up on an Etsy store. And again, all that information is in that video. It does have a zipper, a snap front, and a detachable strap that is adjustable. So this can be worn as a crossbody bag, a shoulder bag, or this can completely come off as just a clutch. So it's a great little way to use up fabrics. So I actually got two of those done, and they all turn out so different, and I love adding just some different elements. This was a piece of, as a button with a chain on, so I'm assuming it was some sort of closure, and I had picked it up at a thrift store or something, and also I had attached one to the zipper. It was just fun, and again, they have the snap, and they also have the zipper closure. And this one is completely just a denim bag that I had made. I had this top of this jean, and I thought, well, I'm just going to make it into one of those denim jean bags, fully lined, has a couple pockets on the inside, and then I used a thrifted belt for the over shoulder strap, which worked out just great. So that's another one I got done. But the one I wanted to share with you today is actually made out of placemats. I had gotten, I think, a set of 4 of these placemats for $2. But I absolutely love the fabric. It's an embroidered look to it, very delicate, just really a sweet fabric. And I just love this little bag. It's super easy to make. I have one single snap on it, and then just a strap. They're all going to turn out a little different, but I wanted to share just the basics on how you can turn a placemat into a little bag. So I hope you join me. My finished purse is about approximately 9 inches wide by 7 inches tall. So I'm first going to be cutting a little bit off of the edge of this placemat. I do use that smaller strip for part of the strap, but for now I'm going to just put that aside and work on my main part of my purse. I felt like it needed a little bit more stabilizer in it, so I cut a piece of warm and natural batting and just slid it in. Now this batting is cut pretty much the same, a little bit smaller than the bag, and about 1 inch or so narrower, because I do want to turn this edge in, and I'll show you that next here. I just opening up the seam allowance a bit on each of those corners, and we'll be folding it in just so it's a nice finished edge, and we'll be stitching that. One of the very last things I do is actually close the sides on this bag, but I do want to get this pressed into place. So you'll see me doing that here, just turning the edges underneath. And you can see that batting tucked in there. This placemat actually had interfacing on the lining, so that white, or it's almost a cream colored backing of these placemats did have some lightweight interfacing, but it did not have any batting. So each placemat's going to be a bit different as far as that goes. I'm just going to take a moment here now and just pin this pressed edge into place. I'm on to making the strap, and I'm going to be just doing some deconstruction on this piece I had left, removing that backing. I do piece this strap. I like my straps approximately 46 inches This is going to be not going to be an adjustable strap. It's just going to be set, but you can wear it crossbody. So I'm making it 2.5 inches wide by approximately 46 inches long. And so I do have to piece it. I am going to be using this back of this placemat, and this is the piece that has that interfacing on it. And then I'm going to also add just a piece from my scrap, a print that overall looked really, really nice with it. And you'll see it here in a second. Yeah, and there it is. It has a little bit of a print on it, but it's that same soft yellow. Just cutting those salvage edges off. And then I form this in an L shape, and we'll be stitching this diagonally. This really adds less bulk than stitching it straight across. So I like to do this when I do my my straps. I always mark that because I always mess it up at the sewing machine and sew it in the wrong direction. So I do like to mark that before I head to the sewing machine. And we'll be adding this third piece on just the same way, and again marking it and pinning it into place. And I'm taking it to my sewing machine. And then I'll trim that little triangle off. I do like to open up these seams. And then I'm going to continue on with my pressing of this strap. I've folded in half first and go all the way down the whole 46 inches, and then I'll turn my ends in to meet the center. You'll see it here in a second. So this is going to be about a 3/4 of an inch strap. And then I want to top stitch on both sides of that strap. Now my strap is complete, but I want to tuck about an inch on both sides or both ends of this bag. So I just opening up that side. This is a seam that I haven't finished sewing yet, the side seam, and I'm just tucking about an inch in. And then on the other side, I'm going to be opening up approximately that inch there, and so I can tuck that strap in right in that seam. Once my little seam is opened approximately an inch, I'm going to go ahead and slide this other end of this strap in, and I want about an inch of the strap inside the bag. Just making sure everything is even there, and then I'm going to stick a pin in it. Just getting everything lined up, making sure that strap is in the right spot, and then I'm going to go ahead and close my long side, and then also just that little seam opening there. Now it's on to putting in the magnetic snap. I'll have all my supplies listed down below. I'm using a heat erase fabric pen here to put a little mark. This is the washer part of this magnetic snap, and it has little slots in it, so I'm able to mark what I need to poke. And I just use my seam ripper for this, just poking a hole here. Putting that magnetic part on the underside and poking it through to the front side, and then putting that washer into place. And then using a hammer to get those prongs bent down. Normally I use the pliers for this, but I don't have any with me here. They're all back in Minnesota, so I just basically used what I had, and this big hammer worked. Now doing the other part of that zipper, which is on the inside of the bag. And again, doing it the same way. This little washer will be completely covered up. I do cut out one of these little flower little circles, and that's going to be just glued on top of that. But it's also completely covered up with my next step. But just wanted to make sure that that was covered and secured. And then adding one in the inside as well. Using a fabric tack glue for this. And I have this wonderful piece of cotton trim. It's a vintage piece, and I'm planning on just tucking that to the inside. I haven't sewed the side seams on this, and so that'll be just finished off very nicely. And just a little bit of it's going to be sticking out. I just really like this look. And then I had this doily. Now I found this again at my thrift store. My thrift store has a basket of different doilies and things for 50 cents each. So I'm always digging around in there just to see what I can find. And this just fit perfect. I decided I wanted that bottom trim moved down just slightly, so it just peeks out. Just getting this nice and even and into place. And I'm going to be taking this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to be stitching this doily down, making sure I don't hit that snap. But I use a free motion. I don't show it, but I'm just going to meander stitch over the ends of this doily. And then also sewing that lace or that trim on the bottom there too. Now it's time to close this bag up, finally, and closing up those side seams. I want to make sure to back stitch really good a couple different times on those, because that's going to be a stress point. And here's what it looks like. Want to add one more embellishment. I just did a little yo-yo and this really cute Italian metal button. I just picked up these buttons at a quilt show. I just love them. Here's some photos. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this was a simple, quick project, but I just really, there's just a sweet, sweet bag. Has some other pictures of some of the fold-over clutches that I made as well. They're all in my Etsy store. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye for now.